Well, I have choked on these lies my entire career. Well, here and now, the lies stop!
Sir, just had a quick question, if I may, sir. Sir?
God be with all of you.
Sir?
Man your positions, men.
Sir, just a quick question. Are we having chow flown in, or when is chow? I was just wondering, I was just getting pretty hungry, you know?
What the hell is wrong with you, man?
So I was at work the other day, and Soundgarden Spoon Man came on. And I don't know if you remember Soundgarden or the song Spoon Man, but it was off the great, I think it was the Great Unknown album. And all the guys at work were just dogging the song the whole time because they don't understand the music from that era. You know, I'm like, look, you had Soundgarden, you had Pearl Jam.
Are they young?
What's that?
Are they young?
Yeah, I think one guy's like 30, the other's 20. So, there's generational steps at work.
Huh.
But,
well, it's a grunge thing.
The Rock, a 1996 Michael Bay movie about a mild-mannered chemist and 007 going on a counterstrike against a group of military men led by a renegade general who threatened nerve gas attack from Alcatraz against San Francisco. Movie stars Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, and Ed Harris. And Jesus.
So MJ, what did you think about The Rock?
Well, to be honest, I loved it. I mean, this was one of my favorite movies from the 90s. Anybody who's seen it, I don't think could argue that, especially in the time, it was topical, it was fun, it was well made, and I don't think it won a lot of critics over, but I don't think it was panned either.
I remember it being a big spectacle back in that time.
Like an early blockbuster type movie.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what time of year it came out, but I remember it being advertised and marketed like a lot for its time. This is back 96. I mean, I think the internet had just been invented.
I don't know. Let me call Al Gore real quick and see.
We had to wait for your AOL screen to move. America Online.
Mm-hmm. Remember those CDs you used to get in the mail? Gave you 4 hours of AOL
for free.
That's how we met the ladies. Or not.
Virus-ridden chapters.
That's right.
This is by far my second. It's my second favorite Michael Bay piece.
Right. Well, the first being 13 Hours.
Yes. But that being said, I mean, this is back when he really had like his niche, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
He was kind of an up and coming guy. He wasn't really, because the production company was not, but it was Jerry Bruckheimer and Don Simpson.
Yeah.
They actually give a memorial to him at the end in memory of Don Simpson because he passed.
Correct. Yeah, he passed right at when they were editing the film.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like full bore, kind of like how George Lucas did with the prequels. It's not full Michael Bay mode, which is good.
But there's flashes of Michael Bay still, right? Literally.
Yeah. You got the upward camera rotate.
Yeah.
On Nick Cage at that one point, like they did in Bad Boys, which that was another one from that time frame too, where I give Michael Bay credit for is the Bad Boys movies, especially Bad Boys 1.
I think by the time he made The Rock, he was pretty cemented in. I remember this being a huge movie, and at the time, Nick Cage was top, maybe not the top of the A-list, but he was definitely an A-list. Had the power to throw his weight around and say like, no, we're doing this if I'm doing this, we're getting Sean Connery too.
Who was Nick Cage or Michael Bay?
Nick Cage. So Sean Connery only signed on to this because of Nick Cage. So it was one of those, I'm only going to do this if Nick's going to do it. And it,
Was Ed Harris in there because he was running out of milk money?
Ah.
Boy, am I glad to hear you say that.
No, Ed Harris. This is my first favorite Ed Harris movie. Second being Apollo 13. I think he played Gene Kranz like perfectly. For the amount of emotion and passion with like I guess his character that Ed Harris shows in both movies, this and Apollo 13.
Okay.
What made me kind of adhere to Ed Harris.
Okay. I think mine, if I had to pick an Ed Harris movie other than this one, it would be Gary Glenn Ross. But that's not really an Ed Harris movie. It was just an ensemble cast.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
You've never seen Gary Glenn Ross?
No. Never even heard of it.
Because I fucked up the name. Gary Glenn Ross.
Gary Glenn Ross?
Correct.
That's the name of the movie.
That's the name of the movie.
No idea what the hell you're talking about. What year?
Early 90s, somewhere in there.
Really?
Maybe 91, 92? That's the movie that only closers get coffee. I know you've heard that line.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, now we have a movie for Casey to watch.
We should mention, too, this is back in the day before Nick Cage got off the rails and started becoming crazy.
Not the bees! Not the bees!
Ah! Open up my eyes! My eyes! Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were there for a while, and I've long said that I like Nick Cage movies. I don't like Nick Cage. The man was on a hot streak with some of the scripts. You had what was the one we were talking about earlier with Rosie Perez and
Oh, It Could Happen to You?
It Could Happen to You. You had,
Wasn't it like Moonstruck?
is that the one with Cher?
Yeah.
Pass.
No, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I've heard it's a good movie, but it's like not up my alley and not like it's not like me and MJ are sitting here watching just like dumb action movies all the time or horror movies. We actually watch like other stuff,
We do. No, we do.
We're not watching like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants in our free time.
No, I prefer Jumping Jack Flash.
You like what?
Whoopi Goldberg, Jumping Jack Flash?
Oh God.
Another bad action movie with Whoopi Goldberg. Anyway,
like Simon Says or whatever. Not Simon Says. What was the one where she was teamed up with a dinosaur cop?
Theodore Rex. We didn't even have to take a cut for me to look that up.
Bam!
Get it.
This baby's gonna blow big.
This baby's gonna blow big.
You actually got a lot of people in this too that were really good in the 90s. You got William Forsythe. You got Michael Biehn as the SEAL commander. You can't beat, this is his second or third time playing a SEAL.
Oh God! Carry the one to -2. What was it? Say something, you dolt.
Yeah. Ironically, too, he was uncomfortable in this one because there are real Navy SEALs on the SEAL team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which I did.
So,
I didn't recognize any of the other guys that were talking.
Yeah, so he was...
Besides the guy that died in Titanic by the smokestack.
But yeah,
Let me go! I gotta go!
He was genuinely like, he didn't want to like make an ass of himself in front of the real thing, because he had, I think just prior to this, he had played a SEAL in literally the movie Navy SEAls. And then he was
Walking STD Charlie Sheen?
Yeah. Tiger Blood. And then he was also a Marine in Aliens.
Yeah, he was Space Marine, yeah.
But hey, our time's coming.
He did do a very good job in this one, though, whether he was uncomfortable or not. That shower scene. Not that kind of shower scene.
It's not the shower scene from Starship Troopers.
Hold your fire!
It's a fucking trap.
And that scene alone is it's in my list of the best scenes of this movie.
I would argue that is the best scene in the movie.
With the most emotion and the barking back and forth between him and Hummel, and
yeah, we have the upper hand, stand down.
I know, it was just so much fucking emotion. Even when I was a kid, even before I even joined the Marine Corps, I was like, holy fuck.
But that doesn't give you the right to mutiny! You call it what you want! You're down there, we're up here! You walked into the wrong goddamn room, Commander!
God damn it, Commander, one last time. You tell your men to safety their weapons, drop them on the
I
deck.
cannot give that order!
I almost shit my pants in my parents' den.
All they had to do was watch the Star Wars prequels to know that if you have the upper ground, you're gonna win.
Yeah, you can't win if you got the high ground. That's it.
That's it. Just ask Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, he couldn't just walk up the hill towards Obi-Wan. He had to try to jump over his ass for some reason.
And it did not end well for him.
I mean, Michael Biehn would have lost both his legs and an arm.
But no, that's a great shower scene.
It is a great shower. We're gonna put that on our top of best shower scenes.
It's up on the list. I mean,
our number one shower scene. Don't get me wrong, Nick Cage was casted well as the mild-mannered chemist. I mean, he was green to combat. He kind of fibs about it to Sean Connery. Chemical super freak. But still,
I was gonna say, I don't know if mild-mannered would be the moniker I would give him. I think eccentric.
He was like vinyl records. he was a Beatle freak, you know. He had
he loved Elton John.
Probably a $4,000 Gibson guitar that he's just like, little guitar, little wine, just relaxing. There's actors that are always just going on set and like playing themselves. Later on, Nick Cage became that, but there was a time when, not like he was like, it was anything that he ever did was Oscar worthy besides Leaving Las Vegas. I think won awards, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it did.
The movie won an award. I don't think, did Nick Cage win an award for that?
I don't know. I would argue if he did, it was a lot of who he was in life, not what he had accomplished.
You mean the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola? That's probably it.
But, irregardless, which is a word, and it's in the dictionary, look it up.
Further the less.
He was in everything.
Yeah, he was.
Including The Rock, which was a nice little flick.
Very nice little flick. Not that we don't have gripes. We're not riding the Rock pole here. It's it does have there's minor flaws. But when you're going into something like this is kind of one of those ones it's an action flick, early Michael Bay. There's a lot of explosions, a lot of things that you're like, wait a minute. But it was a good mid-90s
action flick, though. Think about what we had mid-80s, right? You had Jean-Claude Van Damme and Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
But then you got your underliners, like you got your Mad Maxes, which wasn't popular in the United States right away. But I mean, yeah, it wasn't until you got your Lethal Weapons and whatnot.
Right. I'm saying this was the progression, and from where we came 10 years prior, this was a great movie at the time, as far as an escapism from life.
Oh yeah,
you could just watch this.
You could just shut your mind up and be like, all right, it's an action flick. It's a summer blockbuster. I don't know if it wasn't summer, but it's a blockbuster movie. It's not anything that's you Yeah, it's not winning any awards, but you have the amazing and R.I.P. to Sir Sean Connery.
Yeah.
And I think one of his, besides James Bond, one of his best roles, I think. Oh, and as Dr. Henry Jones was a very good role for Sean Connery.
Yeah. A fit role for him too, especially given his age at the time. Oh, you didn't like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
If that thing had one redeeming quality, it was that Sean Connery was in it. And that was Sean Connery's last performance. He almost got to like fisticuffs, I heard, with the director.
Like, could you blame him?
No. Real quick, we're going to talk about this real quick. Build the suspense a little bit. There's this cool little fan theory that floats around the internet that I like. I think it's entertaining to think about, or that it's funny. So what it is that every single James Bond character that's ever played James Bond, that's really not one particular person. Okay, hear me out. I know I'm going off kind of on a Twilight Zone type of thing here. The fan theory is that Robert Mason's character in The Rock is a captured James Bond 007.
Okay.
About the time, like, let's say, give or take, because they say 62, 63. But I think I checked on IMDb and it was around like 69 or 70 or something when Sean Connery passed the torch, or passed the torch to someone else. But so what the theory is that every actor that's ever played James Bond, they are not physically or born James Bond. It's a name that's given to the next person that comes in line that's trained to assume the position of either the one that died beforehand or got captured or whatever.
Right.
Like
okay.
when Timothy Dalton or whatever is doing it, even though he's James Bond 007, that's not his real name. It's like a surname given to these operatives. So the fan theory is that Robert Patrick Mason in The Rock is a captured James Bond.
Okay.
That just got held in America prison for 30 years.
What was the...
I always just thought that theory was kind of cool. I'm like,
I can get behind it. I mean, the 007 thing, that makes sense.
So, yeah, whatever. The cool little fan theory, I always thought that was interesting. Because, like, they've always brought back to, like, the actors that have played James Bond have had total different chemistry on screen. Also that technology keeps advancing as the movies go.
Right.
So how could this guy still be the same age when GoldenEye came out and you're using laser wrist watches, you know, and they're using guns and weapons in the movie that weren't invented when Sean Connery was doing it.
Right.
You know. So I thought it was just cool. But anyway, that's my little weird spaz moment.
You've probably got no fucking idea what I'm talking about.
So, did you know, at least at the time, I would argue it's probably changed now that he's done 13 hours, but at least there for a while, this was Michael Bay's favorite movie he had done.
Oh, and I totally agree with Michael Bay for a change. Before he started shitting out Transformers movies?
Oh, I mean, I feel like his career literally made a shit sandwich. Because you had this, then you had a pile of shit, and then you had 13 hours.
Yeah, well, besides your love for Pearl Harbor.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
So, being that this was one of his favorite movies he'd worked on, he actually held on to an idea for a sequel for quite a while, and it would have Goodspeed and James Bond, Mason, reunite to go on a cross-country, thing like a pursuit with the microfilm being chased by the government again, and like Goodspeed's getting chased, so he has to turn to Mason to help him out, and then shenanigans ensue. Insert Megan Fox and some Ninja Turtles. Bam! You got yourself a movie. Some sparkler grenades. We got us a movie, baby.
To teleporting Humvees. So yeah, there's that one scene. Okay, speaking of teleporting Humvees, I was saying earlier, this movie does have its faults. There's that part in the well over lengthened car chase scene. It was basically just an excuse for Michael Bay to be like, you know what, let's flip some police cruisers. I mean, it literally has nothing to do with the plot. Really. I mean, really, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
The only point of that whole point is for Mason to meet his daughter, or to see his daughter. I mean, but they lengthen that thing out. The frickin' incursion of the island doesn't happen until an hour in.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
right on the mark. I checked it. And when I paused it, I'm like, right when we were getting loaded on the helicopter, we're literally at like an hour, 46 seconds.
Okay. Well, I mean, they had a lot of exposition to work us into. We had to know Mason loved his daughter, and Goodspeed was going to be a daddy, and...
Oh, no, I get all that, but that car chase scene is just... And it's just full of just great campy lines. You can just know are totally ADR'd. William Forsythe is holding the mic up for all the time, so they just throw any audio they want over it. They probably reused footage. I'd have to go back and look. But there's one point where he's even like, and his mouth isn't moving to match where he's hitting every fucking thing in the road trying to block us.
West on California, speed approximately 70 miles per hour. I want a net put on this son of a bitch, you hear me? The guy's hitting every fucking thing in sight trying to block us.
Like, why did you have to have that scene? We see he's hitting everything in the road trying to block you. I mean, I understand about like cuts between things, but the teleporting Humvee thing is when Mason's coming on the road and he runs into that cab and that little moped thing, and it pushes it into that telephone pole, and it all goes up in sparklers and shit.
Yeah, the transformer blows.
And all of a sudden it cuts to him again, and he's perfectly lined up with the highway. And he's like, whoa! And he's already like at like driving speed. And there's not a single fucking thing wrong with the front of that Humvee.
Well, that was kind of like, there's a similar cut in the Dukes of Hazzard remake, which is, don't ask me why my brain made this connection. So the scene when they're escaping from the college in the car chase, and they shoot up the bridge embankment.
Oh, yeah.
And you get that, right? And then you have old Wayland's, this, boys, is looking like a dead end, right? So they land, and the car literally just, the wheels just broke off. And and then it cuts, and you see them just take off in a new Challenger.
What's totally wrong is it's fine. It's a common movie, whatever. You got to make quick edit, whatever. It's fine. Yeah, so, and that's another thing. And this kind of happens a couple times in this movie. And it's not a big major break or something. Like, don't get me wrong. We love this movie. We love The Rock. But even when I was a kid, I'm like, these lines are, what are they there for?
Yeah. Like, what's the one?
Well, Sean Connery answers the cell phone, which is kind of cool because it was like a fish out of water thing. The guy that owns the Humvee calls him.
Hello? I'm only borrowing your Humvee.
But then all of a sudden it cuts back to some more chase shit, and it cuts back to him on the phone again. And he's like,
information? San Francisco? Jade, Angelou, that's A-N-G.
But I'm like, when I remember seeing this when I was a kid, I was so lost in the cut that I was like, is he still talking to the guy that owns the Humvee? So there was no like transition. That was like, he just still has the phone up to his ear.
Right.
There was no like showing him dial anything.
Right.
So I'm like,
or
who
even
the
hang
hell
up.
is he talking to?
What about the Marine that says, let's go be all we can be in the Army?
Come on, General. Let's be all we can be.
They actually all fucked that up.
Yeah.
David Morse even fucks that up.
That pissed me off toward the end.
He's supposed to be like a major.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not beyond me to think
Like you're
that-
talking to a general soldier. What? That's kind of my theory. They never state it, but I think Fry and Daryl.
might have been other service members.
Well, yeah, because they wear berets.
Maybe. I mean, we all know, was it Hummel was definitely a Marine, right? Because he was in his dress clothes in the
Hummel,
beginning.
you got Major Baxter. You got Joaquin Bodine.
I like that guy, but I can never say his name.
But
I
like
butchered.
Hummel says that he goes, you cut your teeth with me, and then the guy McKinley from Scrubs, they both served under
Him. Okay.
under him, like in Iraq and Desert Storm and whatever. And
In Vietnam.
but then you got what's his name from like Under Siege and shit. That guy is definitely not active military with that nice cute little man bun on top. Like no, what? And that's another
so
thing.
they have something to hold while they,
Maybe he was in the Navy.
I mean,
On
He
this-
knows how to pack a radio.
we might be on this island for a while. You guys have the softest lips in the military.
They have the LL Cool J lips of all members, all the military branches.
Codename DSL. But speaking of other unneeded dialogue scenes,
There's a lot of it.
there is a lot of it. That whole scene with the trolley guy.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard, y'all. How y'all doing today?
That son of a bitch ain't safe anywhere. Welcome aboard, everybody.
Hey!
That element run the trolley.
Oh.
No, like there was no need. He just had to run into the trolley and then it run down the deal and crush the Ferrari. Save yourselves! I mean, there was like all this extra shit that you're just like.
Hey, could you imagine that scene?
Is it for comic relief? I mean, I didn't know what the whole point of it was.
Right. Well, and watching it now, I can't help but think about like if they shot that movie today, what the passengers on that cargo, or on that little trolley would be, all these hipsters. Hey, man, this is not cool, man. You can't just jump on my trolley.
Yeah, man.
Like,
That guy hit our trolley, and I'm like carrying this vintage TV home on the trolley
Yeah.
so I can put it in my studio apartment.
you're going to spill my home brewed
Soy latte.
soy boy latte.
Here's looking at you,
San Francisco.
Well, yeah, so there's that one, and then the whole just that it's a blip when they finally get what's her name to the command center, and like Nick Cage is out gonna go jump in the water with all these seals, and she's like, well, Stanley's not even a good swimmer, like he can't even snorkel. And like it's never played out, like there's never a part in the movie that plays where he's a bad swimmer.
Right.
So the line of dialogue is just pointless. There's a part where he doesn't know how to run the equipment, but that doesn't mean he's a bad swimmer. And they get in the water and they're using fucking underwater jet skis anyway, so he didn't have to swim anyway. So like I'm like that point, that little blip of dialogue is just pointless.
But yeah, it's hard to argue that point. I think they were just trying to again epitomize that he was basically just a nerdy doctor. But I would also argue
they don't play it off visually, like where
Right.
he, like one of the guys had to go back and grab him, and like he's in there floundering around in the water. Or something.
in my opinion, he was a 90s hipster, right? Like
I wouldn't say a hip. Well, yeah,
he was eccentric. It was
I don't think hipsters existed back then.
well, that's what I'm saying. He was the evolution. Like that was the
He was the missing link.
that's the link between the hippie and the hipster. Goodspeed.
Goodspeed, the missing link.
Bang. You like my vintage guitar? Let's drink some wine.
Okay, real quick, let's talk about, because I noticed it in there a little bit. There is parts where like, okay, they're like, oh, he's a trained killer and blah blah. about Mason, right?
Right.
And I had noted in my notes that I'm like, the morgue kill, even though cool visually, was completely impractical and untactical.
It's where they like drop the air
Yeah,
conditioning.
he shoots like a fucking heating unit on him. He shoots like a whole magazine worth of bullets at this fucking heating unit, and it falls and crushes the guy while the guy is holding a grenade. He's like, I got
Right, because he shot him in the foot first, and then the guy fell.
yeah, but then he's like, I got something for you, and he pulls the pin on this grenade.
Like the grenade belt.
And it actually doesn't
thing.
even look like a grenade. When he's holding his hand, it looks like a flashbang. So I'm like, are you just gonna blind him? Like, it wasn't a frag grenade.
Shot my foot. I blind you. While I crawl away.
Don't try to stop us.
They turn into Aqua Teen Hunger Force aliens.
So instead of like a tactical thing would be like, okay, you got a guy down, you rush the position, you just finish him off, double tap him or whatever.
Or literally shoot the same way that you shot his foot in the first place.
Maybe there was like
now he's on the ground.
Maybe there was like an arm of the desk blocking his shot. We don't know. We weren't Robert Mason.
We're going to shoot the
We're gonna-
unit.
We got 4 lag bolts holding this fucking heating unit above him. We're gonna
4 6-inch lag bolts on.
Yeah, I know. So like, let's say you're shooting and all of a sudden you've already wasted a whole magazine with bullets. Like, well, fuck, that didn't work. The point of view is like, once you got him down, you move position and you just finish the job.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mason could have done that, but there's only one person against one person. He didn't have to have Goodspeed do shit. He's just sitting over there blasting away over the desktop. And, shit, I've already went through a whole magazine worth of 9mm. I haven't done
hey,
shit.
Give me one of your magazines. He's like, I gotta use an MP5, not a 9mm. That's not the same. Give me a mag.
This ain't working.
That always bugs me.
Evaluated my bullet expense rate.
Yeah, that always bugs me in like cop dramas because they'll like interchange mags, and I'm like, you weren't even carrying the same gun.
Yeah,
it's not the same. It's not universal ammunition.
Well, you got a 45. I carry a 40 S&W. Oh no,
yeah.
Fine. Give me a mag.
yeah. Give me some 45. I'm using 5.56 in this, but it'll work. It'll be fine. Just give me a piece of gum. I'll put a piece of gum in the mag, and it'll be good. We got this.
We're gonna MacGyver this weapon. So that one I was like, all right, whatever. It's a good spectacle. Highly.
It was
unlikely.
another opportunity to see sparklers come off of the.
No, because all it did was fall down and crush the guy's head because he goes, "Rah!" And he's still holding the grenade.
Yeah, but
now then all of a sudden it crushes his head and his hands are by his side. So I'm like, so what happened to his hands? Is he still holding that grenade? Nothing ever happened with it.
Maybe look 2 feet to the left.
Here. We're really but you got to understand where we're coming from with this.
Yeah. Fetch me musket.
The other one is that I thought dragged out for a long time and was very impractical and untactical. And maybe we'll just make that a segment when we're talking about or like action movies. Impractical and untactical.
I feel like there's a show on like the History Channel. If it's not, we claim it, and History Channel, give us a call.
Yeah. We'll be on there. Just call us. We'll just have a segment. This segment's brought to you by Jarhead Basement. We're just talking about shit. Yeah, fuck that guy. What the fuck? And they're like, no, this is the History Channel.
Whoa.
You can't have beep, beep.
It's in the Food Network. We can't be having that kind of language here.
This is the Food Network. You can't cut up Vietnamese food without a K-bar.
That's right. Get Bobby Flay in here to do it right. Take me to Flavor Town.
But hey, so anyway, so the cart scene turns into fucking Temple of Doom. So my thought is, when rewatching this, like when it was fresh in my mind, I'm like, why didn't they just roll off the cart right away? Then there would have been no like, do you know where this goes? There would have been none like, no, I don't know where it goes.
And you always got that one track that's missing. Link, and you know,
oh yeah. So then they fly up, and somehow, and I wrote this in my notes. I'm like, Sean Connery's fine, everybody, yay! They have like some ragdoll thing attached to the cart when it goes over, and Nick Cage jumps to the other thing, and it just fucking just eats it right off of that. And like, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way someone doesn't have a broken leg or a disjointed hip, especially at Sean Connery's age.
Well, you know why? It's because Tom Cruise wasn't in this movie to do the real stunt.
Then the dude from Scrubs comes down. Sean Connery sneaks up there and sprays kerosene on him and lights him on fire. So instead of him being like a Marine and being like, motherfucker, I'm on fire,
Stop, drop, and roll.
he starts screaming like a bitch. And then somehow jumps down to where he's like in close proximity with Sean Connery.
Flammable.
And somehow he gets attached to the cart. And then in the most drawn out kill fashion that anybody could have that would be like in a horror movie, Sean Connery goes up and cuts the rope holding the cart. He doesn't just stab the guy in the throat or neck or what in the chest.
We're not going for efficiency here. We're going for movie magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then there was also a part that I'm like, okay, well, he's not on fire anymore. That drop to the water wouldn't have killed him. So what? He's attached to a cart. He dropped in the water. So
it
what?
takes a long time to climb that 30 feet back out.
Well, Nick Cage looks down, like they obviously used a prop in that too, because his one leg is like way up by his arm.
Yeah. Just broke every bone in his body.
Just in that, like, I've jumped off of porches higher than that and not land in water.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just like, okay, suspension of disbelief. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
It was pretty hilarious though. Rewatching, I'm like, this is like supposed to be like the most highly trained operative that the SAS had to offer, and he's going out of his way to make these highly impractical kills by shooting heating units and lighting guys' boots on fire.
Well, you got to remember, bud, that he didn't have his laser watch or his Aston Martin, so he was out of his element.
Or his golden gun.
Or his golden eye. Or Octopushy.
But yeah, so I thought that was comical upon rewatching it.
That's fair.
That was another thing. I'm like, no one is ever like truly like tactical in this whole movie. We're still in this impractical and untactical little sidetrack. So there's two instances when the Marines jump Nick Cage when he's like clearly looking over the side of that cart. Mason. Instead of like hanging back in the shadows and be like, yep, poof, and like done deal.
And crisis averted.
And credits.
San Francisco blows up. Bad guys win.
Yeah, the Fry and Darrow kill Ed Harris and they just blow San Francisco up.
Yeah.
Oh, spoilers. You've already seen The Rock. Don't lie. Nick Cage gets a chance to see him where they jump out like a bunch of buffoons and then start shooting like randomly at this steel cart that Nick Cage is in. And
randomly like
Rocky and Bullwinkle, they get in another cart and like I know there's like no way for them to get to that, so they get in this other cart. But they're still just wasting ammo. They're just like bam, 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 and sparks are flying and oh, okay, cool. The other scene is when tell you my old man was Irish, that guy. Nick Cage is doing his thing with the hair gel filled balls.
Oh, the VX gas.
He rope rappels vertically down. There's clearly a stairwell that Nick Cage used to get there. So instead of just standing...
No. We're talking about speed and efficiency here, okay?
Oh, yeah, just instead of being up where you're at, and maybe you could go to the fact of, like, these guys are still military and they're not ready to start just randomly killing people. You wiped out a whole shower room full of Navy SEALs. An FBI chemist is not, like...
Yeah.
You would have more respect and harder time killing those respected brother-in-arms than you would some douchebag chemist from the FBI.
Yeah, some lab rat.
Okay, even if you were going to rappel down, you vertically hang, you're like, all right, poof, one to the head, and then you rappel the rest of the way down. Radio Hummel will be like, yeah, we got this, dipshit. Roll end credits. San Francisco gone.
Yeah.
Because and they're like the Mutt and Jeff show, he throws him to that window. It's like, good thing the old man Hummel wants you alive. And then all of a sudden, like, not even like, they're like, oh yeah. There was no pause between it. I'd take pleasure in gutting you, boy.
Or later they're walking back. He's like, why do you always say that? You always say, every time we interrogate somebody, I'll take pleasure in gutting you, boy.
Every time we capture somebody, you've been doing that shit since Iraq.
It's Guadalcanal. What is going on?
Fucking Quezon, you were saying that shit.
Quezon might have been a little old for them.
Guadalcanal wasn't? I was like, Guadalcanal? Holy These ain't senior citizen Marines.
I was in Lebanon. It was dangerous.
I finally noticed it. There's this scene when they're up on the roof and they're patched through the roof and Fry's got his hair hanging. I was like, doing his thing. No one is paying attention, and I paid attention. I paused it, actually, and I'm like, what the fuck is Joachim Bodine doing with his rifle? You're not gonna see it till I post the video.
Okay.
But I'm like, what is he doing? What trained Marine holds his rifle like that? And I'm like, I know the scene because they're like, all right, Michael Bay's like, we gotta get this. He's all focused in on, and they're doing their thing. And he's not even in focus. He's enough focus so you can see what the fuck he's doing. And I'm like, what the hell? Not enough attention.
I didn't catch it.
To be like, let's take another take. Bokeem, what the fuck are you doing? You better unfuck yourself right now.
So one of the things that happened on the set too was Sir Sean Connery demanded, you know, the scene when they're in the sewer and the fireball goes over the top of them. So that was obviously on set, and he required that water be set to 90 degrees, and everybody got like just sick because it was just a breeding ground for, you know, bacteria. So that's the same Sean Connery. So it doesn't surprise me that he's like, I'm not running down that hill twice. You get one.
I'm knighted, goddammit.
Yeah.
Well, so final thoughts and grading. MJ?
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 6.
The hell did we move it up to 6?
I don't know. Did I tell you I failed math for Marines? Huh?
What?
Was that?
Take again?
No, I liked it. 3.5, 4 stars, somewhere in that range.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a 5-star.
Yeah. No, I give it a real. I give it a 4.5.
Okay, that's fair.
On rewatch value and entertainment value and
Again,
covered
it at the beginning of the movie.
Covering all their corners, kind of like story wise.
Yeah, it's worth a rewatch. A rainy Sunday afternoon, a nice, tasteless light beer, and it'll be good.
We give her a good old thumbs up. If you haven't seen The Rock for some reason, if you've lived under a rock for the last like, I don't know,
30 years.
You're gonna lock me up for another 3 decades.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That was good.
So no, check it out. We highly recommend it.
I would say we do.
The Basement highly recommends it.
For all the mutants in the basement. Go, man. We're not stopping it. We're going with it. It's a thing. The people love it. You love it.
All right, do your thing, do the whole, subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff.
What he said. So,
oh, wait. We got a surprise for all of us. You and me both. MJ's picking the next movie.
You, me, you, me.
You talk, me talk.
You, me, you.
Yeah.
All right. So, I'm going to give you an option because I didn't want to just give you no 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Reanimator.
Better, closer, warmer.
Or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
You're giving me a choice.
No, you don't get the choice. The mutants get the choice.
Oh, they're gonna choose.
They're gonna pick it. Let us know in the comments below.
You guys got a responsibility.
That's right. And since
The
most
whole
of you
20
people don't even watch to the end of the video, if we don't get any responses, we're gonna watch Reanimator.
No, I'm fine with that. All right. you guys take care, huh?
See you next time.
We'll always be here. We're never far away.
Baby,